Greetings everyone. I'm Ambasing and today I'm with Mayus for the episode 16 of the Power Pages Quick Tip series. In this episode, we will explore how to set up a Google identity provider in the Power Pages. Please note that Google Plus API is deprecated. Microsoft strongly recommend you should migrate to the Google People API during the configuration. Google is one of the OAuth 2.0 identity providers you can use to authenticate visitors to your Power Pages site. OAuth 2.0 based identity providers require a client ID, client secret, and sometimes redirect or reply URL. Please note we have already made the proper series or the complete series on the different identity providers which is available for the Power Pages. Please check it out the previous episodes for that one. How to set up a Google provider is quite simple steps. So we have to set up the Google identity providers in the Power Pages with just few clicks. We have to create an app registration in the Google and then we can add the APIs. Plus we have to set up the consent screen there. After that, we have to enter the top level domain and then we have to add or generate the credentials for that one. Then finally, we have to copy and push those client ID and the client secret to the Power Pages setting areas. How we can do this, let's see in the demo now. So here I would basically show you how you can configure the Google IDP for the Power Pages in the live demonstration. Let me just quickly move to the Power Pages. So this is a Power Pages web designer page. And in the new brand security tab, you will get a manage section. In the manage, you will see the identity providers. You have to look for the Google IDP. So sometimes it may take a bit of time to load it. Let it load. Now it's loaded and you see Google is already enabled there. So if it is already enabled, you can edit the configuration. But just in case, if you are looking for the brand new one, then you can simply go to the Google. This is not enabled and it is ready for the configuration. Either you can click on the configure. Google will be automatically or by default selected. It depends what identity provider you are going to opt with. Otherwise, you can change anything from the available options there. You can give any of the name here. Please remember whatever the name you will provide there, it will be visible to the site visitors when they will see the button there for the authentication. In the next screen, once you move, this is important here. You should copy reply URL and you have to fill the client ID and the client secret, which you will generate from the Google. What you have to do on the Google, let's quickly move to the Google and then start with the console.developers.google.com. Once you are on this website, firstly, you have to search for Google People API. So for me, it is already enabled because I enabled it for this instance. But if you haven't enabled, you have an option here to enable and then you have to configure and then enable. It's a simple steps there. Now, after enabling, you can just go back and then you can look for the enable APIs and services. It should be there. As you see, People API is already enabled there. After that, you can move to the consent screen. You have to configure the consent screen here. So it's a simple, like you have to, I will just edit it. You have to give the app name here, the supported email, what email you have to support. If you just provide the app logo here, it will ask for the verification process. Right now, I'm not uploading it, but just in case, if you upload it, an example here, if I probably upload a logo for that. So this is the logo. Now, if I will move forward, it will ask for the verification for the app. But just wait a minute here. Then after that, you have to give in the authorized domain, the powerportals.com. Before a couple of years back, you have to decide, okay, it is MS CRM portals because we had two domains available, but right now every portal come with the powerportals.com. So you have to give the domain here. And then you have to give the developer contact information. So if someone had a problem, then they could able to reach you out by this email address. You have to save and continue. On the next screen, you have to provide the scope. So it asks because you have added the logo, you need to go through the verification process. This generally take 2 to 3 days. If you add the logo, if you don't, then this pop-up will not come. And here you basically can decide the scoping. So you have a sensitive scopes, you have a non-sensitive scope and the restricted scope. For now, for the demo purpose, I'm just proceeding it from there. You can provide the optional information there and then you can directly move to the summary tab. So this is a summary tab, what you can see. You can just validate every information here and then you can go for the prepare for the verification. So once you are on this window, then you can see a message there, your app registration required a verification by Google, and then you have to initiate the verification process there. So this is all what you have to do at a first place. And then let me just scroll down and show you. This is the information what I mentioned. You will see that one. After these things, you have to go to the credentials. In the credentials, you have to start by creating a credential for OAuth client ID. So I clicked it there, and here you have to choose the application type. So for me, the application type is a web application. Then you give the a web client name. Generally, it's web client 1, 2, 3, 4, but you can give your own. The important aspect here is the authorization redirect URI. So what I will do, I have already configured one for the demo. So you can see the authorization JavaScript origin, you have to give the base URL for that. So this is a base URL, and authorization redirect URL, you have to give it what you have copied from the Power Pages. So I told you when you were in the Power Pages, when you started the configuration, you see the reply URL. And this is the URL what you have to copy from there and paste it here. It is really important because if there is any typo or something, it won't work. It will fail all of the authentication there. Once you select everything, then you can save it. And the moment you save it, your client ID and the client secret will be generated. I will anyhow regenerate this because it will be visible to the YouTube and people could misuse it. I won't blur it, but I will regenerate it post processing this video. And this is all what you have to do. Once you have a client ID and the client secret, you can simply go and copy it from here. And then you can go to your Power Pages pack and you just paste it there. So you can paste the client ID and the client secret there. And then simply after pasting, you can just click on the confirm if you require it. If you need, you can go and configure the additional setting also, but that is really not required from the demo perspective. After configuration, it look like this. So you have a client ID and the client secret, and then you save it. You just sync it. After syncing, once you refresh the page, you will see the Google is being mentioned there. I clicked on the Google. Automatically, it should take my credentials because I have already logged in there. So I just click it there. It is signing in. If you can see on the top, it is loading or spinning it. And now you see the user Power Platform Learner is already logged in. So this is from the Google. This is quite simple. So this is really a simple thing. I would mention simple steps, not complicated. You just need to follow the steps. You have the reply URL, then you go to the console.google like an environment, the URL there, you generate the APIs, client ID and the client secret there, paste it back to the pages, save it, sync it, and everything will be done in that case. Mayus, do you have any question here?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I saw you added in the app registration, you
Hmm.
added Power Apps portals URL.
Yeah.
What if I were now to connect a custom domain to my Power page? Does it still work or yeah?
Yes. So the important aspect here, if you use or add a custom domain name or even change the site base URL, we must set up our identity providers to use the correct reply URL. Because you remember the reply URL will be regenerated in that particular case. So the
Mhm.
Google app uses the reply URL to redirect users to your website after the authentication. And if we have not configured it correctly after maybe adding the custom domain or updating or even changing from the site base URL, the authentication will not work. It will fail because reply URL will still try to redirect to the old portal, which doesn't exist. So it will
Mhm.
fail. So we must have to go and reconfigure it again. I hope you got your answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. So stay tuned to this channel by subscribing and pressing the bell icon. Share the video with your friends and the colleagues who are having the same skill sets like you or want to deep dive into the Power Pages. We will be coming up with the more interesting tips, knowledge sharing, and the lesson learning around the Power Pages. Also, please always keep the eyes into the description of the video so you are always up to date with the latest information. Till that, have a nice time. Happy learning. Thank you.